にちは。
Hello everybody, it's Oopsy Daisy here. I know it has been a dreadfully long time since I made any type of video. As you've noticed, I've moved twice since the last video I made, so I'm sorry. I'm finally getting back to it. Today's video is going to be on the game Everquest. Everquest 2 to be exact. And I know that I have touched on it a few times in the past, but to be perfectly honest, I have played this game for 6 years. I definitely know the mechanics of the game and the community, you know, I just think that it's something that, you know, younger gamers should be able to enjoy, because it's not like it's a bad game. I mean, in all honesty, it has better graphics than WoW. Just saying. I like WoW too, so. But a lot of the people that play this game are, you know, like 30 to 50, and it's just like the last generation knows what it is. So I guess I just wanted to kind of introduce it to some people that are a little bit younger and might get a little bit more out of it. You might be wondering why that the first screen that I showed you is the launcher erroring out. Now this has been an ongoing issue, at least for me. If you have any type of internet connection that isn't FiberNet level, the launcher sometimes won't pick it up. Now, sometimes it can be pretty annoying, but as long as your game is patched up, there's one way to get around it, and that is with this. So if you right-click on the game icon that the game installs on your desktop, this is what opens from that icon. But if you go down to this is Everquest2.exe, and you right click and you send to desktop and create a shortcut. Then you can open the game directly without the launcher, so long as it's patched, from this icon right here. So if you give me just a second, I'll log in and then we can start dissecting this game one little bit at a time. Okay, so when you open up the game and through that shortcut that I showed you, this is the screen that shows up. Now, in case you're wondering, the current expansion that's going to be coming out this year is Seeds of Vengeance. All I know is that there is a raid zone called Shard of Hate that is being expanded. This is what a troll looks like in this game. It is a playable race, but you know, as I showed you in my character and race overview video, they are extremely ugly, but they are wonderful for scaring people. So let's see if I did that right. Nope. Okay. One second. Sorry, I've been sitting here for 10 minutes talking to a non-recording camera, so I am sorry. Basically, I had to change my password because I hadn't logged in so long that I had forgotten it. Now, if we go back to where I thought we were recording, I'm going to create a character. There's 4 types of servers. 3 of them require a membership, which is $15 a month. I've had it personally for years, but for the purpose of this channel and everything, I just made a free account. Now, traditional is your regular server. You know, it's not a PvP server. It's not. There are roleplay servers, but there's only one, and it's used for decorating and stuff, which I'll get into later. There's a progression server. It's Fallen Gate, where they re-release all of their old content, like, you know, like. There's been, I don't know, 20 or 30 expansions over the years. And every 6 weeks they release a new one, and they also made it a very group-centered difficulty level. So if you have friends that you want to play with all the time, then that is a good server, because soloing is very difficult on that server. They have event servers, which, you know, they do different things. The last one that I remember was Race to Trachanon, but I did not participate in that. And then there's free trade, which is if you want to make a lot of in-game gold, most items can be freely traded between players on that server. But for the purpose of this video, we are going to be creating a traditional server character. Now, I like to be healers simply because I like being able to heal myself in battle, because I'm kind of the person that runs in head first and shoots. But for the purpose of this, I'm not sure that I will. But every time I don't, I always regret it. Okay. So, let's make a monk, because they can heal a little bit, but they are also a tank. So basically, fighters are tanks, priests are healers, mages are mages, and scouts are like rangers, rogues, assassins. Basically, you know, the shoot from afar type thing. They're not ranged, all of them, but they're more like sneak up and attack versus fighter, which is, you know, kick it in the face. Okay, so we're gonna go next. This is a Sarnak, if you don't remember it from the last from my race and class overview video. I want to do something. I love wood elves. Oh shoot. There was a Asian release of this game, by the way, for those of you who haven't watched my race and class video. And it was a So Good Games, I believe is what they call it. So there is an anime styled appearance for about half of the playable races and the game races in the game. So, like, if you like this, you can go for it. There's even a setting in the options where you can turn it on for all characters in the game that have the alternate appearance. I personally don't like it that much, and I love anime, but there's just something about making it 3D that just doesn't work, at least the way they did it. So female. Now, they're all, wood elves are always tan, but for the purpose of this, I really want to do an evil character. I will make good characters as well. I'll like make a let's play going down the good and evil paths of this whole thing, but I really want to make an Arasai. Now, for the purpose of this, yeah, monk. Because I have never played an Arasai monk. I don't want to play a high elf. Okay. They can only be like blonde or red hair. But anyway, Arasai. Now I'm going to whiz through making this because no, I do think I'm gonna play a Fury. Shoot. Firm Fury, because I just think Arasai Furies fit well together. Now, let's see. Belladonna Leafwing is my favorite, but there's variegated. There it is. Okay, let's see. That didn't. Okay, wings. Color 1. Okay, she's a Fury, so let's do white and let's do this. And do it you can really play with the way that these things look, but I don't want to be too punky with this one, so I'm just going to go with like tealish blue, tealish green, and that's perfect. Now hair. Now I just don't like the punk rocky type hairstyles. This is actually one I think I'm going to go with, and I think I'm going to go with about that type of hair. You kind of need a balance of this appearance and this appearance, because both of them, like, some of them will have lighting like this, some of the game will have lighting like this. It just really depends on where you are in the game, because there's, you know, basically a volcano, and then there's snow, like the Arctic. It's just, the game has a very diverse environment, and there's a lot of lighting situations. And your graphic settings. You have the option to see the helm, which I always hide instantly when I get into the game. And, okay, let's just give her maroony eyes. Let's, her ears are right. No, her cheeks. There is good. Okay, eyes should tilt down just a little. Eyebrows. Curve slightly. Down. Okay. Now her mouth is just slightly narrow. Now, for her skin, I think I might go with a. Nope, Wheeze is going with living. Okay. I don't want to name her Oopsy Daisy for this, but what could I name her? Now, my favorite starting zone for evil is Neriac. But my favorite, it's a semi-evil zone, so not every character can get into it, depending on class and race, but is Gorlin, or Timorous Deep, as far as like what the map says it is, because it's just a really, they're not evil, they're just reclusive, and it's just, anyway, I really like it because it's like an Asian style island paradise. I really like that. Okay, so Neriac, and let's go with Skyfire. And as for names, Scrib, Tanya, Nif. Oh no, I want to go with Smudge Duel. Okay. Nymphia. Let's try with that. That was, she looked like a tree nymph to me. I did not intend for any alternative meanings to be used. Get used to that. I accidentally innuendo all the time. I am a Christian, so please don't hurt me. Okay, Darklight Wood. Now, Darklight Wood is basically purple. And you do get, when you make a new character, you do get kind of panel bombed. Okay. So. Okay, so this is the UI setup that you have when you first open the game. Now, this is your character panel with all of your character slots, both hands, both ears, neck, fingers for rings, weapons. This is your inventory slots, which when you start out, you have this many. You can get 46 slot bags that are craftable by any tailor to fill all of these and give you roughly 400 pieces of storage space, which is amazing. But for now, we aren't going to do that. They also have a fully equipable appearance tab, so you can equip appearance weapons and any piece of armor that you prefer the appearance of. Now, they have wardrobe, which is you buy it with cash shop points, which you get 500 of them for free a month when you're a member, and if otherwise you just pay for them, just, like any other game practically. But you can purchase slots which remove all of the class and level restrictions on said piece of armor and work on an account-wide basis, I believe. I don't know what that is. There's nothing in it anyway. This is your skills. Now, skills are various different things in the game, from swimming to alcohol tolerance. These are your combat skills, like there's aim, crushing, focus, slashing in the actual combat. For spell casting, there's disruption, ministration, which is healing, ordination, subjugation, and avoidance is defense. Now, general is where I usually spend like most of my time looking, because you have a language system, which is actually pretty fun, because you can just go to a language vendor and buy most of them, but there are a few languages where you like Goblinish or Goblish, I believe, where you have to kill enough goblins to get enough, I believe it is territory markers, to learn their language, and then you can understand a little bit they say when you aggro them. But I know Thexian and Feyfolk. Thexian is the dark elf language, if you hadn't noticed the very angry looking blue guy over there. Alcohol tolerance and swimming are two of the skills in the general tab. Now, you do learn to swim, and the higher your swimming skill, the faster you will be able to move in the water. Alcohol tolerance is kind of hard because you have to be drunk. And one friend I know said that what she would do is just get completely pished and then jump off a cliff, kill herself, not be drunk, and then go back without repairing her armor and repair her armor at the end. So, but anyway, there's also, these are the harvesting skills for crafting. You can harvest all materials for crafting, regardless of your crafting profession, because there is a lot of overlap in the crafting professions. Plus, some people need to harvest materials for other people, like if you're in a guild or something. And anyway, this is all of your stats. Now, I'm a complete noob about like min-maxing your character, but, well, I'm not a complete noob, I know a little bit, but potency is really important, especially just through like the beginning content. There was a Days of Summer event last year, which if you're level 100, you get a free set of armor that gives you about 10,000 potency with 10,000%, which is well enough to one-shot 99% of the mobs in this game. So, And if you want to completely skip all of the endgame content, there is a dungeon finder, which is available at level 20, where you can go into agnostics, which are basically repeatable dungeons, and there is like a community of people that just guide newbies through there, and you can be at 100 in a week. But it does mean that it's a little harder to quest in lower level zones because you have to go to a chrono mage and mentor down and everything. But anyway, I'm getting off of that topic. Factions is basically, the reputation system of the game. Like, because I made Neriak, I'm ally with Neriak, which is the highest you can get. Freeport is the other evil city, Gorowin, the semi-evil city, the one I was talking about. And then these are all of the good cities except for this one, which is the one that you go to when you betray your faction to switch to another faction. Because regardless of your membership level, you can betray your chosen city and become good or evil, or just stay in exile, depending on what you want. But staying in exile is kind of inconvenient because you really have to do everything yourself, because nobody likes you. But anyway, there are crafting factions which give you recipes, there's city factions, it can get really interesting. Passive effects, these are the effects that work, like because I'm a Fae, I can't die from falling damage unless I'm on a horse, because I have wings and I can just glide to the ground safely. Mounts are collectible in this game and can be converted into housing items if you so desire. You can get duplicate mounts depending on the way you get them. Like, if you buy the mount, you can get more than one. If you earn it from a quest, you get only one. But you can have one on every character anyway. Familiars are a new type of pet in the game that increase your stats depending on which one you have and how high you've leveled it up. Now, I believe this is a Pegasus one, and they are, they're really nice, and they can be bigger than your character, especially when you're only 2 feet tall, as I am right here. But as with mounts and familiars, you have a equipped one. You can equip an appearance one, like if you have let's see, like if you have this one and you just can't stand this appearance, you can, and you have both of them, you can equip this pretty one right here, and it will show this one but have the stats of the one that's in the equipped. But anyway, but to summon a mount or a familiar, you have a button that summons the equipped one right here, and you just hotkey that, drag and drop. A mercenary is basically a hireable helper, basically. They can be leveled up and you can give them armor and different things. I generally don't use them very much because I power level 3 level 100s, and at level 100, if you have that set of armor I was talking about earlier, you really don't need much help until you go into the Kunark Ascending and Plains of Prophecy content, which were the previous 2 expansions. Seeds of Vengeance is the upcoming expansion. But it is a purchasable feature from the cash shop, which, I believe you get it. Do you get it? I think you might get it when you become a member, but I would do research on that because I am not sure, because it was like years ago. Currency, because there are a lot of different types of currency aside from game gold in this game. Like over here, if you scroll all the way to the top, this status is a currency. And then this is the in-game gold currency. And then you have all of your festival tokens and your special tokens for factions and all of that type of thing. So there is a tremendous amount of different currencies. Like for every festival, there's a different type of currency. So they give it to you in this window, so that you don't have to carry it around in your inventory, which is very nice. You can have multiple houses in this game because it has a very, very in-depth decorating system. You can buy houses from the cash shop, and there's also city houses that, although a little bit less, frilly, for lack of a better term, like with the prestige houses from the cash shop, you can place a portal to your house and anywhere you have access to. But you can also have city houses, which you just go to the door and buy it for in-game gold and or status, depending on the one you want. Dungeons. This is a feature that was mostly gutted out of the game because people were creating dungeons that would be the most efficient to get power level them. They have the agnostic dungeons, which do the exact same thing, so I have no idea why they cut it out. But now, when you create a dungeon, it's pretty much used for storing decorations, because you can drop house items into the dungeons, and you can make as many dungeons as you want. You can make 45 and store 2,000 items, and in addition 2,000 building blocks in each one, which is very helpful for decorators. You have biography, which is your typical, like, I am an Arasai type, you can type whatever you want in here. And this is the options. Now, you can choose your prefix title, which you earn through the game, your suffix title, which all of these are because there was a server merge a while ago, And so all of these, like if you were particularly fond of Oasis, you can, say, you're Nymphia of Oasis. Now, you have flags, like you can be anonymous, which means nobody can inspect you. Role playing, you can turn this on, and then everyone will think you're away from the game, even though you're playing. So if you want to play by yourself, that is a wonderful thing to do. And looking for work, which ties into the crafting system, because if you select another character and then create an item, you can use the items they collected for you to create an item for them. You can also hide head cover, which is very nice, and you can hide cloak. Like me, I don't use a bow, so if I click show equipped bow, it will show nothing. You can also hide your illusion form, which if you're like a warden, which is a shapeshifter, then you can turn into a tree or a wolf or something. Now I leave it on because I like to know when that happens, because I'll go through the entire thing with my healing buff on, and it's like if I had my illusion off, that I wouldn't know I was a tree. But anyway, you can also change the voice of your character, like the little that they do when they get hit in battle, and the voice that they use for emotes, which are socials in this game, and there is a ton of them. And they also, like in the opening of quest dialogue or the exit, there will sometimes have a little bit of that text. You can also decline duels, and you also have auto attack mode and advanced options and stuff. Now this is more, like you can share your updates to Facebook or Twitter. You can, link to your alts, and you can use, they have SO emote. I can't believe they still have it, to be honest. But, because SOE sold this, so it's kind of funny that they still have SOE emote. But basically it links your face through your webcam to the face of your character, and it will mimic your facial expressions. It's kind of wonky, but it's still kind of cool if you have like a bunch of people, and there's voice chat in the game and everything. So now, as you've been seeing, there's a ton of stuff over here. Now, alternate advancements is your trait trees, basically. There's everything from crafting to racial abilities in here. There's the broker, which is the auction hall, which I can access it anywhere, but you have to go to a broker and have broker tokens to access it without a membership. Now, the calendar. This is one of the features in this game I think should be in every single game, and the only other game I've seen it in is WoW, and maybe a couple of maybe Age of Wushu or something like that. But they show all of the in-game events, and you can add guild events in here if you're a guild leader for just about 6 to 8 months. And their festivals last about 2 weeks each, which I personally enjoy. Then there's your character panel. There's a rewards section for how long you've had your account and stuff. There's also community, which is your friends panel. Deity, which is something that you get into a little later when you get into the rating and stuff in the game. Dungeon Finder is the agnostics, basically the power leveling of the game. And Dungeon Maker is basically the, I want to see this of, that dungeon system I showed you. Basically, there's no point, but you can still make a dungeon to walk through. So, there's also equipment infusion, which is basically where you pour money on your equipment to make it better, as best as I can explain it. I have never gotten to that point. Now there's guild. If you don't have a guild, it shows you a list of all of the guilds recruiting on your server when you press U. If you are in a guild, then it will show you all of the statistics and the members online and stuff for your guild. Housing and leaderboards goes for all of the houses, like prestige houses and published houses in the game that you can tour, and there is a tremendous amount of them. I mean, in massive homes, 40 to 80, like 40 to 80,000 probably, if I had to guess, because you know you can have more than one house. Journal, which is your quest log. It handles your collections, achievements, your daily objectives, which tie into the loyalty points, which you can spend in the cash shop for certain items, and mission timers. No idea what that is. I don't think I've ever clicked on that. Knowledge. Now this is your skills panel, spells, upgrades, and all that. And then there's the classic looking for group. I will be right back. And we are back, ladies and gents. So, now that we've covered all of that, where were we? Oh, right, mail. So, there are a few mail restrictions, like you can't send items or something, but you can receive all mail when you're not a member. This is the map. Now, just to preface, I have a plugin called EQ2 Maps, or Everquest 2 Modular Atlas Project, and they create in-depth maps with all of the quest items and locations for quests added to the map, because Everquest is one of those games that wants to make you work for it, or bleed for it, rather. Anyway, there's the marketplace, which, as you can see, there's the redeem 500 a month, and then the loyalty shop where you can spend those loyalty points I mentioned, and you can do all of that stuff there. Also, there's the options menu. There is a lot of options categories, and there is an advanced and basic version of all of the options, depending on your level of prowess when it comes to anti-aliasing and bloom settings that you want to do. Okay, this is your recipe book, like on my main character. Otherwise, I have about 4,000 recipes, but I haven't started crafting on this one yet. Voice chat, and then here's the welcome dialogue, which when you open it, it shows you some shop stuff, whether you've redeemed your monthly access, and any friends that you have online at the time or on your friends list. Then there's help, report a bug, and log out, and all that. And let's see, that's pretty much the gist of the UI. Oh, by the way, you'll notice that there is two experience bars in the UI. There is adventure experience and quest experience. Now, I just look at this top one right here, which is orange, because that's usually the one that, you know, gets you to the next level. I don't really know why they divided it up. I'm sorry. But, anyway, I've never found that it makes much difference, you know, because you just usually level up whatever you're doing. So, now that you see this dark elf in a skull mask, let us begin a quest dialogue. But first, let me change my voice.
Any party is better with me. I need healing now. I will make you hurt.
That's subtle.
Assassins are in my wake. You don't believe I can hurt you? I think there's more than one.
Some of the voices are a little hit or miss. You just have to figure out the one you want. H is the universal interaction key, stands for hail. Excellent, you finally arrived. So you're one of Kristanos' chosen ones. The Queen must see some great potential in you, Nymphia. Let's not waste any more time and see what you're made of. How am I to do that? Hate's envy has fallen under attack by an army of sable vein elementals. We need your help in stopping them before they burn down the entire town. What is it you would have me do? The Sablebane elementals have collapsed a section of the southern wall and now threaten to swarm inside the town. I need you to speed up, or to meet up with Udiat, or Udiatius. Ud, Ud, Udietas, and Palandra, 2 of the guards tasked with repelling the attack. Go speak with them at once. I will speak with them at once. And then, after you finish the dialogue, you accept the quest, and it pictures the reward, unless it's like a quest significance that you don't know what you're going to get. And then, these books are the signs that you're supposed to do it. You can also left-click the, sorry. You can also left-click the character in order to talk with them, or right-click if you want a menu of interactions. Curse these infernal things, there's no end to them in sight. You there, what do you want? I've been sent by Vertex Nza to assist you. I told Verex I could handle things here myself. Bah, no matter. You think you're cut out for the job? It's no skin off my back whether or not you succeed. Verex can always send another recruit to replace the fallen. What is it you would have me do? Elementals first started appearing inside Sablebane Tear, forcing our miners to retreat. Now they're spewing forth from rifts in the ground. I need you to find one of these rifts and seal it. Are you up to the task? Yes, I will seal one of the rifts. Now I'm just going to take you through one quest to show you the dialogue and how that works and everything. But I am not going, I'll wait until episode 1 of the actual Let's Play before I actually do that. So, like if I right click this, it says kick rebel. And I just kick the rock into there. Now, I go back to this lady. Now these are beginning quests, so they're very easy. Ah, you returned it in one piece, I might add. Tell me, were you able to seal one of the rifts? I found one and sealed it. And then you get your reward. Remarkable work. Our enemies will soon wake upon hearing your name. The rift may be sealed, but the battlefield is far from clear. Is there more I can do? Indeed, there is, Rift Walker. The Sablebane elementals did not appear here naturally. Something or someone summoned them. To learn more about their creator, I have a new task for you to undertake. I need you to hunt the Sablebane pulverizers found near the entrance of the Sablebane Tear. These are more superior forms of elemental magic, will likely be imbued with a sigil of some sort. Analyzing these sigils will give us insight as to who really is behind these attacks. I will collect them and do that. Face of our enemy will soon be revealed. Nympia, help us lift the veil so we may face them openly. And that's pretty much the gist of quest completion. Now, if there is a mob that you are supposed to complete, or to defeat, rather, that has, that is for a quest, it will have a little feather next to its name. If it's aggressive, it will have a red outline around its name tag. These are non-aggressive, so I can just, that happens occasionally. So you can just run all around them and they're not going to hurt you. Now, let's see if I can find a shiny. Now, a shiny is a collectible, and collections offer experience and rewards in the game. There is no membership restriction on being able to participate in them, and once you get to, I believe, level 95 crafting, you receive a skill that will pick them up on radar and give you a trail to them, along with crafting and quest items that you have to find. That comes in really, really handy, and also at level 85 you can have Freeform Flight, which means you can fly anywhere and everywhere you like. Now, there are 3 races that have the... I'm still looking for a shiny. There are 3 races that have an inborn flying ability. That would be the Fae, Arasai, and Airkin. They can all, depending... Fae and Arasai are free to play. The Airkin, which you need the noble race to get the flight quest from the cash shop, require you to buy it from the cash shop. But for the most part, I prefer that. Now, if you have like a wood elf or something else, you can find or buy or make flight wings, and there are several different types of flying mounts you can use, including flying lions, flying, horses, and just several things like that. Now, I am doing something unwise and proceeding out of the newbie zone in order to try to find a shiny. I do not recommend doing this because there's a good chance you will get yourself killed. But anyway, at least you get to see a little bit more of Darklight Wood. Darklight Wood is the predecessor zone to Neriak, and Neriak is one of the 2 main evil cities in Norath, which is the game world. Greater Feydark and Kinos, or not Greater Feydark, but Kelethan and Kinos are the 2 principal good cities. Now, these guys are red, and they have a red outline around their names, so if they find me, they will kill me. So I'm going to go back to the newbie zone. That's the bridge to Neriak. Neriak is the city and home of the Dark Elves. Freeport is the city and home of the Dark Elves, but also a lot of other evil races, like, the trolls and ogres, and I don't believe you can play a goblin in this game, but there definitely are enough goblins. They're used for everything from good to bad PCs, or NPCs and everything. It just depends on really where you are and what you're doing. But, anyway, it's not wanting to give me a shiny. There it is, there's one. Now, if you see these little yellow sparkles on the ground with a question mark over them, you simply left-click them, and once the progress bar completes, you will get the collectible. If it's white, if the name is white, then you can add it to your collections panel. If it's gray, then you already have the collectible. It cannot be added to any more collections, and then you can either sell it on the auction house or put it in a depot, either for your personal characters or for your guild. Now I can add it here, and it shows all of the collections that it could be added to, and then you are pretty much done. Now when we come back, we will continue on to the quests and armor and everything. By the way, the bag opening hotkey is B. I will talk to you later, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.